Wacky Wednesday. NFL Chaos with Jeremy. I am the Chaos. And we got a special show for you today. It's not just NFL Chaos with Jeremy, Wacky Wednesday. It's Wacky Wednesday with Jeremy and Adam. Right after this. A 1-15 team takes a running back. You just took your franchise quarterback. You had a running back. And I'd be pissed if I was a Jacksonville fan. I love that, talking about Green Bay. He'll never find out. Believe me, nobody knows better what it looks like when an organization is about to go to shit than a New York Jet fan. And Justin Fields proved that he can hold it together. He can regroup. It's okay if he struggles. And we got a big game against the Eagles, and maybe you need some energy, so wake up! We have every right to expect the Jets to win. Rich Cimini, schmuck, putz. That's right, subscribe. But without further ado, let me bring on my co-host for the evening, WA2K99, also a.k.a. Adam. What's up, buddy?
Twice the chaos, twice the energy, and twice the fun tonight. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. They don't know that I was just in a panic with you, looking at the PFN mock draft simulator and seeing that our second round pick was magically turned from 35 to 37. So now we have 30, according to PFN, we have 37 and 38. And then our third round pick is now 67 from 69, which you think is a good thing. But guys like J. Cole, who's in the chat right now, is going to be very pissed that we don't have the 69th pick.
I feel it's almost like, when you're in school, when you were getting grades back, and it's like there's something about a B plus, like getting the plus on it as opposed to the A minus. I almost felt better about the plus than the minus. I feel the same way about 67 versus 69. It's like, I'll take the 69. Thanks very much.
Yeah. It's disturbing. Just say hello to some people in the chat. What's up, Tom Bon Jovi? The kid is asleep. The ice cream bowl is filled. Time to enjoy a wacky night. I like that. You don't have to share the ice cream. When you get your kid the ice cream, you get to take a taste of it and tell him it's a Papa tax. J. Cole says dumplings. He was sleeping and you woke up at the perfect time. You did wake up at the perfect time because we're gonna get wacky. Okay. So first thing I wanted to ask you, Adam, is what you thought about the Senior Bowl.
It didn't really. I think you got to put more stock into the practices and the process of the week as opposed to the actual game. I didn't really pay much attention to stats and things like that. It was more about, to sound cliche, how they played the game as opposed to what a final score was or even what final statistics were. But from everything that I could see, I mean, at this point, I think I played the Ron Middleton pregame speech about 49 times. I just can't get enough of it. If it moves, hit it. It's just, oh my gosh, I wanted to run through a wall after hearing that speech. But from everything that you hear, I really think that the Jets coaching staff had a focus for this game. They knew what players they wanted. They tried guys at different spots. For instance, Zion Johnson playing center, as opposed to playing guard. They want to see where he can fit in the offense if they draft him. And then Boy Mafi, all his fans, we're all going to be the Mafia if the Jets draft him. They tried playing him in a 3-point stance, and I think it was Green Bean who said that he wasn't used to playing that way. He's always been a stand-up pass rusher. Well, we know the Jets are pretty married to the 4-3 defense. That is the style of defense they're going to play.
Yeah.
So this is really a great opportunity for the scouting, and I really believe that they got some solid answers looking at. And from what I hear, Mafi had a really stellar game here. So I don't think we know exactly what the results are going to be. I'm just glad of how they prepared for it and the overall process. Now, let's wait a little while, and we shall see who played in the Senior Bowl, whether it's on the national team or the American team that the Jets draft, maybe even an undrafted free agent here and there. But if you recall, I'll just mention one other thing. Remember when we went through those stats a while ago on Green Bean Show, and I went through how many players have been drafted by coaches of the Senior Bowl, and it was never really more than one or two guys. I'm
Right.
curious to see if that changes this year. Will the Jets really go hard after the guys they coached in the Senior Bowl? We shall see.
We'll see. It's interesting. I think that this Mafi guy, I don't think that Jet fans are. I know I wouldn't want to see him as the first edge we took. But if we doubled up on edge, and we grabbed him, say in the fourth rounds, on top of if we took a Jermaine Johnson or wherever it works out, if one of the guys slip at the number 4 pick, I'd be pretty excited about that. But I would feel, one game doesn't exactly sell me on that's who we're going to put opposite, that's our future. And, we did, it's just, it's one game. I don't know if I know the guy well enough or trust the guy well enough to be the one way we try to improve that position. So Jeff's mess is here. My friend Mess, he's going to wait for me to eat dinner. I know he can't wait for that. J. Cole's going crazy in the chat. And of course, Dom C, who's just on Green Bean's Patreon membership, allowed us onto a Zoom. This is an amazing, and the reason you need to be a Patreon member of Green Bean's channel is you get to be on the Zoom call and you get to meet, our heavy hitting guys. You get to talk to Green Bean in person, hear his thoughts, ask him questions, but ask other people questions. Braden was there, and Dom C has been writing amazing things on Green Bean's website. He's been writing about safeties. He's covered safeties. Now he's, I believe, linebackers. Now tight ends are the thing of the flavor of the week. And he was just actually giving us great information about tight ends and really giving us a lot of specifics and a lot to think about. So welcome, Dom C. I'm glad you're here. He was awesome, by the way, in that Zoom call. So I got to tell people it's only $5 a month to be a Patreon member for Green Bean. There's a lot of people I see that donate money and give in super chats. And, you should continue to do that. I'm not saying don't do that. But if you're willing to give him money there, why not join and be a Patreon? It's a great move. It's a smart thing to do. And speaking of Green Bean, he is here. He's asking for a regular thing now. And all I could say is there are talks. There are talks.
Yeah, we're gonna have our agents get together, and we're gonna work all that out.
J. Cole's asking what I had for dinner. I know I have some creamy linguine that's going to be brought up to me by my lovely wife at some point. 8 watching, 8 likes, 100%. Oh, hey, thanks for bringing that up. Thanks for liking. Continue to like the stream. I always forget that piece. So I know all my, all the regulars, I appreciate them so much. They always come in right away and they hit the like button and they even remind people for me. Don't you love that? And I remember thinking, for Green Bean, people do it, I do it, but I never knew how good it felt when you see it. When you see people in the chat, not only supporting you by watching, but by asking and reminding everybody to like the stream, because it really helps. My wife is saying, are you hungry? Which is a funny question because, as everybody knows,
when aren't you?
I'm hungry. I'm a match makes everybody. I'm a matchmaker. I'm a matchmaker. It seems everybody kissing it. You've made you're a group maker. A lot of people that are here because of Green Bean. So Russell Scarf is hungry. So Jocelyn, if you know Russell Scarf, you can send some food his way. 11 watching, 11 likes. You're killing it, man. Thanks. Yeah. I don't know. I can't explain it, Green. I can't explain it. It's Adam. It's definitely Adam. It's because I brought Adam.
Your wife is taking orders right now, so she's going to take our order here. You deliver 3,000 miles away?
Well, we could set up. We could do through DoorDash. We could do it.
Okay, I'm open to that. I'm open.
That would be the best thing, to have DoorDash go to like the camping sites or the trailers or the RV sites, find Green Bean's RV, and it's like pizza from Cravats, and he'd be like, he'd be checking it for poison. He'd have somebody eat it first and everything.
No, he'd be checking it for hot sauce.
That's right. He'd be checking it for hot sauce. Exactly. So, Jocelyn says, what does everyone want? Rusty is in the house. Thanks, Rusty. We will have our Rusty's Diamond segment later. I'll actually need you here, Rusty. I got one all keyed up, but I'm going to need you to like give me another player or something because I didn't have time to check your chat. But I have Leo Chanel set up, and maybe I don't know if Chad Muma is one of your guys, so maybe we'll do Muma a little bit later. Jeremy wants some soup for dinner. J. Cole is obsessed with soup. He loves soup. Garrett Ham thought that it was like at him, and they took it personally, and they were fighting. And Garrett, when you watch this, I want you to know, we know now. J. Cole was on Jets Talk 24/7 Tuesday night panel. He's been on, like, he's on everything now. He's making the rounds, and it's always about soup, whether Garrett Ham is around or not. So there's nothing to do with him. He really does like soup. Apparently, he had chicken noodle yesterday. So, meatloaf for green bean. Meatloaf, yeah. Oh, wings with.
I'm feeling this will be a Jet show. A regular thing, it's going to be a Jet show, but there will be a healthy dose of food talk as well, because that's something we could talk about for a long time.
Always. It just seems to be adding up. Well, one day we will record in the summer when I'm in North Carolina. We will get footage of you and me at whatchamacallit,
at the Faro?
At DeFaro's Tavern. People might not know this. DeFaro, and some of you from New York too. DeFaro is one of the famous pizza places in Brooklyn, and apparently the nephew opened up a place in Cary, North Carolina, and me and Adam are going to meet there when I go down, and we're going to eat a lot of pizza. I think we're going to turn it to a pizza tour, right?
I think so. I've got one or two other places. My mom lives in Cary now. Cary, by the way, is just west of Raleigh, for those who know. It stands for Consolidated Area of Relocated Yankees, because it has such a northern feel to it. I actually used to live there for a little bit back in 2002 for a little bit. It was not very long, but we did live there. Job things with the family, job changes. Mom worked for the airlines. After 9/11, things were very tumultuous. So we spent some time in there, and she wound up moving back not long after I moved to Virginia. So, but she found a great place called Primo's that is not that far away. She said it was some of the best pizzas she ever had. This was 2 days before Christmas, and the next day she went on keto. So it was good enough to go on keto for. So I'll have 2 or 3 places mixed out, but I think Primo's and DeFaro will be must visits, no doubt.
Okay. Well, I'll add one to that list. I'm going to take you to Mamma Mia in Apex, which is a place that we just love for standard Brooklyn slice. Like just a
now,
real.
When you say a Brooklyn slice, are you talking about a square slice, a Sicilian style?
No. No, because I'm not talking about L&B as its own special thing. I'm talking about just the standard, like any of the boroughs, the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn. When you just go into a regular pizzeria and you get a slice of pizza, the grande mozzarella, which is very important that they use grande. With the nice crispy crust and the whole thing, So it's just a standard slice that, anybody that grew up in Brooklyn grew up on. But L&B is its own different thing. I know it's square, and we had square in most of our pizza places. We call it Sicilian slices, square slices, and it has its place. Every once in a while we did it. There was a couple of, obviously L&B is the most famous, and there's also a very famous square pie in a place called Armando's in Canarsie by the L train station. That was very, very famous. But I'm more of a round, thin crust guy myself.
Agreed. I'm actually on this Facebook page that is all about pizza and preferences. This new Facebook group. It is like the most demeaning website imaginable. Like, people will post various pictures of all kinds of pizza, and people will either be completely loved or completely shunned. It is unbelievable. Like, somebody made like a Krispy Kreme glazed donut, like they combined them together and made it look like a pizza. Like, people are just grasping for anything at this point. But I'll throw one other. Have you heard of Benny's? Are you familiar with the Benny's chain in the Southeast?
No.
Okay. So they are in about 12, 13 different cities. Raleigh is one of them, right downtown. They are known for all they make is pizza, 28-inch pizzas. That's the only size they make.
Mamma Mia's has a 28-inch, but
28 is all this place does, and it is amazing. So if your typical large is about 16 inches, one slice is pretty much the equivalent of 2 standard slices, and it is actually really good.
Nice. It sounds great. I love when we go to Mamma Mia. The guy who owns it, my brother became pretty close friends with him, and then of course through that, me and my wife met him, and he loved us, and we went there like 3 times in 1 week when we were visiting. And then he said, "Come back Saturday night." And at 8:30 at night, I called him and said, sorry, I got caught up. He goes, you have to come here. And I went there, and he had a 28-inch pie waiting for me and put it in my car and said,
Wow.
take it home for your family, on me. And he cuts it up into all the little pieces, and it lasted the rest of our trip. I mean, it was great. We had an awesome time. We ate a lot of pizza. Anyway, Gitmo Bob found a new Mexican restaurant. Good times, man. You get one of those big grinders that I get, those big monster burritos.
Now, when he says a new Mexican restaurant, is he talking about Albuquerque and Santa Fe, or an actual Mexican restaurant? Little Christmas style, little red sauce, green sauce, red chili, green chili. Gitmo, is that what we're doing?
There's all this controversy. I just know, like, I never cared for Mexican that much. It was fast food more in New York for me. Like, like it was like where you went, like, I forgot the name of the place. There was some Chi-Chi's or something.
And then, oh my gosh, I just got Chi-Chi's tortillas tonight at the grocery store. I'm actually making tomorrow. This is great. I'm actually making tomorrow. I'm making barbacoa in the slow cooker, and I'm making tacos.
Nice.
I got this huge chuck roast. I'm going to make barbacoa out of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went to, ever since I got to California, I go out to these farms where the Mexican food trucks are. And that's the authentic stuff. And that my wife gets the tacos and like nothing else. And I get the burritos, and that's my thing now. I just go to those trucks and get the burritos. So Spooner, you don't like Muma, so it's good that I did Leo Chanel. I got him all set up. And you'll name another guy later when we get to it. So Jeremy, me and my mom have to set up the garage and room, and I might make it a YouTube setup. Okay, so J. Cole might be the next big YouTube guy. Apparently, he's gonna set up a YouTube and create a YouTube studio. That's gonna be wild. I can't wait to check that out. Last up, the official hot sauce of chaos. I don't know, man. If I can get like a sponsorship from them, I'll do it. Like if I can collaborate with Hot Ones, I wouldn't mind that. They're just one of the biggest YouTube channels in the world. Scott Wilson, cauliflower pizza crust on keto is the way to go. Hey, I've done keto. And I needed that tip when I was on keto. Mess says a man slice. Okay, anyway, thanks. I'm glad to see everybody here, having fun, talking. We eat slices, not pieces. Yeah, that's the one problem I have with the I almost want to tell him the next time, like if we go and get one of those 28-inch pies, Adam, if we get it, like my brother's friends, if we're going to bring it back, I almost want to say, can you just slice it into 8 slices? I just want to take a giant monster crazy slice, fold it in half, and eat it.
Yep, that's what I did after Axe Throwing Friday night. I took a couple of my friends over there. They've just opened up a new location, and one in Virginia Beach, and they're about to open one in Newport News where I live. And I said, hey guys, there's this pizza. I actually had a chicken pesto slice, which was really good. I thought it was going to be a pesto base, but it was actually a tomato sauce base with the mozzarella and sliced pesto chicken. And it was like, I think it was like $5 for one pretty huge slice. So, nothing wrong with that. Good cheap eat late at night.
Yeah. I mean, it's only natural that New York Jet fans are going to eventually wander off to the topic of pizza because most of us are New Yorkers, Gitmo, Gitmo is made it very clear on many occasions that there just simply isn't pizza in Florida.
Man.
Or at least not near him. So, Middlesex, New Jersey. I'm not, New Jersey is like, sometimes New Yorkers forget about New Jersey. There's like, you can go into different parts of like Bergen County, the bagels, the deli, there's a place in northern New Jersey called Harold's Deli. They have everything out there.
I grew up in Edison. Yeah, Edison is where I grew up.
Yeah. So they do everything out there in Jersey also. They know their food. They're not playing any games. And my brother, of course, came running when he heard pizza. And Green Bean's going to chime in. Best pizza I had is Totono's. Yeah, Totono's is wonderful by Coney Island, right?
Yeah, I responded to that. I went there, and I got to tell you, I was not thrilled. I thought it was good, but I remember the slice I had, like the bottom of the slice, towards the middle, what the middle of the pie would be, it was really soggy, and it was like getting kind of limp. And for me, that's just you lose a few points with me when you got a soggy crust towards the
now.
bottom.
The pizza guy could have messed up, and there could have been a hole in it, and it leaked, and It happens sometimes when you make a
Yep.
pie. I grew up working. By the way, dinner was just delivered to me. We got our linguine alfredo and vegetables. Anyway, yeah. So pies weren't always super consistent when you go into, especially when you go into like a mom and pop place that's making them handmade all day. So it's possible you got a bad one. I don't know. I love Tortonos. I love it all, man. I'm such a pizza freak. It's hard for me to say one's better than the other. I'm kind of through my life. There has been different places I really love, but there was a place in Manhattan by CBGB's, like 3 blocks or 2 blocks from CBGB's. And Greenby might remember this because he used to pop around the city, and he probably was around CBGB's at some point. There was a place called because it was by St. Mark's Place. There was a place called St. Mark's Pizza.
Okay.
And their pizza was just to die for. And if you like toppings, like say you got a slice of pepperoni, they pile on the pepperoni and they take a giant handful of mozzarella and press it on top and then put it in the oven and cook it. So you had the cheese, the pepperoni, and more cheese. It was absolutely insane. Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's always interesting when you get like I lived in Chicago for 20 years, as some of you might know. So I had basically 18, 19 years in New Jersey, almost, and 18, 19 in the Northeast, 18, 19 years in Chicago. So I have seen both ends of the spectrum, and my gosh, the thin crust, they will bury the toppings in Chicago, even when you're doing thin crust. I mean, I'm not even talking deep dish here, guys. Like, if you get a pepperoni pizza and it's thin crust, it is crust, sauce, pepperoni, cheese. If you're a vegetarian and you take a bite of a slice, you don't know the difference between the cheese and the pepperoni. So that leads to quite the surprise. And the checkerboard cut. I mean, somebody asked me, are there any less important things to be worried about than how a pizza is cut? I said, there are a few, but this one just bothers me. When they cut in these little, like 6'4" across on a 16-inch, so it's a checkerboard. So you got to pick it up. The piece is like that big. I feel like each one should have a little sparkly toothpick in it. It's like eating an hors d'oeuvre, not a slice of pizza. You got to eat like 9 of them before you start to feel satisfied.
Right.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work for me. I like to dig in, man. I want to dig in right away. Like when I get to it, I'm like grabbing at it, But hey,
right, I grip something. Yeah, I want to
Payo Time, the LA Rams YouTube provider, is in the house. Great to see you, buddy. How many more nights do we have? Let's see. Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. 4 more sleeps, as you would say. 4 more sleeps. I think you got this, buddy. I'm not going to jinx it, knock on wood. But I got the Rams in this one pretty strongly. So I think Payo Time is in good shape. I think that he's gonna do. He's where we hope to be in a couple of years. So, and we're gonna do some collabs. We're gonna do some drafts. We're gonna talk about that infamous game in 2020, the game where we won, they lost, and the big question is who was angrier. So, so we're gonna try to find out who was more pissed off. And I think that Payo Times told me that may have been his first watch party game. I'm not sure. I think he may have mentioned that. So I'm sure he'll let us know that if that's true. But there was something significant about that game. And if that was his first watch party game, that cracks me up. Because can you imagine? They're thinking, oh, this is great. First watch party, easy win. We got the Jets. And then the team that the fan base doesn't want to win. They don't want to win. Freaking beats them and helps Seattle get seal the division. So, the Vets Pizza, you need a time machine because Bruno's was my best friend's pizza place and Matthew's best friend, both of our best friends, because there were 2 of them, 2 brothers, and they were our best friends. So grew up in that place. That's why I talk so passionately about pizza, and I know my stuff because I grew up in a pizza place. I started making the dough. I learned how to make the sauce. Grate the cheese. I know the brand of cheese. I know everything there is to know about pizza. So, Steve's Pizza in Miami. So they're talking pizza. Question. Here we go. This is going to be maybe a segment on the show. If we could rely on Payo, like if he can consistently come with and join us every week. This is the funnest part for me of doing the show, is I love answering Payo Times questions. If the Jets and the Giants 2021 rosters competed in a pizza delivery competition, who would win? First team to deliver 500 pizzas win, and customer service counts. Well, based on, I think your best delivery guys are probably going to be the wide receivers and the running backs, right? But for some reason in my mind, wide receivers. So the wide receivers that the Giants signed got like 0 touchdowns. And I say that Elijah Moore locks it up for us.
Kenny Golladay would already be calling out. He'd be injured. So you can just rule
There you
Golladay out right there. So you get your $17 million on the bench. Yeah, he'd be eating it.
Right.
Yeah, Elijah would do it. Yeah, I would. I don't think we'd want to see any tight ends from these teams doing it the way that they run. I don't think that would go very well. And I know Evan Ingram is now a free agent, but he'd probably drop a couple of pizzas.
You stole my joke. I was just about to say he would drop a couple. And we would probably, our weakness would be Ty Johnson, who would probably drop a few.
But you know what? If he had to maneuver his way around like traffic, or if like somebody's coming around, he could get a little shifty. We know how he is going down the sideline. You got to walk that tight sidewalk. He could pull it off. Just only ask him to do it do it with one pizza. Don't have him do it again. Don't go to the well too often with Ty Johnson.
Yeah. I say we beat the Giants in every level of competition. I say the Giants
and customer service. Yeah. What do you think about the customer service counting? I don't know.
The customer service would be, oh, come on. No team has better character than the Jets are building right now.
That's true. And nobody has more humility
than
their fans.
We are the character team. By the way, if my wife's still watching, she'll be mad because we are a house divided. Okay. That's my new house divided banner. My wife loves Eli Manning. What could you do?
Oh, okay. Well,
I like the Mets. She likes the Yankees. Nick Swisher. It's like, Nick Swisher doesn't play for the Yankees anymore. I don't care. Little Vincent Pizza, best pizza. Okay. He knows his pizza. He's in Long Island. They got good pizza. But anyway, hey, John, 4 slumbers. Is it 4? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, we covered that. That's right. Okay, let's get down here. Nice background, Jeremy and Adam. What is he saying? And your
thanks.
Cab is cool too.
Yeah, the cab. There you go.
So I'll tell you some other things. So we should actually start talking some football at some point, I think. So maybe we can go all day with this. We could talk about pizza all day, but how about I'll create a new channel called Pizza Chaos with Jeremy.
And we'll just pandemonium if you want a little alliteration. Yeah, but maybe if the chaos brand is what you have, then yeah, you got to kind of roll with the chaos.
Yeah. So anyway, So I thought that Boye Mafe was the best player in that game in the Senior Bowl. That was my takeaway. I think that Trey McBride did what he had to do to secure why he is looked upon by many people who know what they're talking about. I think as the best tight end in the class, and I think what's his face? Why am I going? Mike Ferguson probably moved up a little on the charts. I think he improved his draft stock. I think he put on an impressive show. If people care, I mean, I don't know maybe some GMs care about the Senior Bowl, maybe some don't. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I can't remember the last time I heard a coach say, well, what made you really decide to draft this player? We were really impressed by his performance at the Senior Bowl. No. You'll hear combine talk. You'll hear interviews. I mean, you won't hear Wonderlic anymore. But, big games. But never, ever will you hear the Senior Bowl. It's a nice scouting thing. But it's, at the end, it's a tool, but it's a minor tool in my opinion. Maybe it's what gets people to look at your tape.
Like maybe it catches some eyes. Hey, Boye Mafe, we didn't really do a lot on him. Maybe a couple of GMs say, take a look at that guy. Look at his tape or whatever. But even that's hard to believe because they have such these NFL organizations have big scouting departments, right? I mean, it's hard to believe there's anyone that's not on their radar.
Right. Yeah. And here's the other thing. If the Jets weren't coaching this game, how much of the Senior Bowl would we really be talking right now? We give it 3 minutes, maybe.
Right. We wouldn't care.
That's all you need to know.
Okay. I have no idea. Nick Swisher may have played football in high school. She's obsessed with him. Wasn't St. Mark's Pizza called Stromboli's?
It
Maybe at
was
one
St. Mark's
time.
Pizza.
Maybe,
So that was near CBGB. So that was in Manhattan.
it was like 2 blocks from CBGB's, but it was definitely called St. Mark's Pizza. I'm sure of it. So I don't know. Maybe there's a place called Stromboli's that you're thinking of that's a little different, but there's definitely a place called St. Mark's Pizza.
Well, I'm going to be in Manhattan in 2 weeks, as a matter of fact. I'm leaving 2 weeks from tomorrow. I'll be spending a weekend in New York City. So, right, I pretty much always go New York Pizza Suprema near Madison Square Garden. I love their slices. They're really, really good. I mean, John's is fine, but you got to get the whole pie, and I think that's a little bit much. But yeah, I definitely got a few eating adventures in mind.
You are the first person that called out Pizza Supreme by Madison Square Garden. I used to do improv over at the Magnet Theater on 8th and 3rd and 29th.
Oh.
And one of the great discoveries I made was Pizza Supreme. And the guy was from Brooklyn. That's why he had the upside down square pizza. He was mimicking
upside down
L&B.
pizza. Yep.
He was mimicking L&B. And I spoke to him for a while, and he told me he grew up in Bay Ridge. His dad owned the place. But I tell my friends, a friend of mine, John from Philly, was in the city, and he goes, I'm near Madison Penn Station. Where should I go? And he's like, still thanks me for it, because that pizza was great. That was a very, very solid place.
Yeah, I like their variety. They got a bunch of different toppings, reasonably priced, good location. I mean, yeah, and it's been owned by the same family, I think 60 or 70 years at this point. So, yeah, what's not to like about that?
So Dom says, look what the Senior Bowl did to Johnson stock. Do you know which Johnson he's talking about?
I'm assuming Zion Johnson.
Oh. Yeah, well, I thought
Really high. I mean,
he was already high on my board, but are we going to lose the opportunity to get him in the second round?
I mean, if you, yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. You'll hear a lot in the last couple of days. Oh, this guy, his stock's rising, and it's true. But at the end of the day, there are still only going to be 32 first round picks. That is not going to change. Somebody is going to fall, just like Elijah Moore did, just like Michael Carter did. So, there will still be talent there to pick, even if one guy just goes out of reach, like, say, Jermaine Johnson probably will. I don't expect, I think we all fully expect him to go first round. Now, that's making a difference. But the thing that I'm most interested in at the Senior Bowl is that the Jets had a up-close opportunity to do some extra scouting, to do some extra interviewing, to put these players in different situations, to see what their attitudes were when they had to adjust to a new situation. That's the stuff that I really care about with the Senior Bowl.
Yeah. And, I like what you said, because I've said the same thing. Whenever people say, well, this guy's going to move up. He's Drake, London's going to move up. Burks is going to get picked at 9, or this is going to happen. This is going to happen. Well, every time we say that, like Zion Johnson's going to go in the first round, Trey McBride's going to go in the first round, somebody gets pushed back, right? Like everybody can't go in the first round. So every time we're hearing all these names and these guys move up the board, other people are being pushed back on the board. And like me and Greenby were talking about it and came to this epiphany that every GM in the NFL has a different board anyway. So we don't even know.
Yep, we're just using our board. I mean, these guys move up. Maybe I'm just throwing a name out. A Traylon Burks moves down, or one of those top 2 linebackers that we really like. They could go down. There's just so many things that could happen. Draft day, it's going to be so much fun, and it is going to be so stressful. and we still have 3 months to go.
I'm going to enjoy the whole off season.
That's all we usually get to enjoy. Why not?
Yeah, it's our best time. It's our best time. I'm excited because I'm not too stuck either way. That's why it's good for me. Like they could pick Aquano, they could pick Hamilton, they could pick Neal. I'm going to be happy because all these guys that I'm naming are just quality players. If Hutchinson or Thibodeau fall, like it doesn't even matter to me. Any of these guys. These top guys with that 4th pick, I just know we're getting a great player, and I'm just super excited about it. And I trust Joe Douglas. I trust that whatever he does will turn out to be the right thing.
It's hard to think of something they could do that would be universally panned by the majority of the fan base. There's certain guys who have their detractors. Some people don't want to draft a safety number 4 overall. Some people don't like the makeup of George Karlaftis, for instance. Mm-hmm. But I think you can at least see, no matter what player they take, you could be like, okay, it's not what I would have done, but I can understand why they're doing it in this spot. So
Mhm.
I don't think we'll hear like universal panning like we have for some of our other prior picks in the first and second round. So I definitely think there's reason for optimism. But God, I hope Hutchinson or Thibodeau make it to number 4.
I
I
mean,
gotta
that
be honest.
wouldn't that be the easiest? Because even if you're a guy, whether you're a tip guy or whether you're a Hutch guy, it doesn't matter. If one of them slips us, I think that's probably the safest pick as far as if we want to talk about the majority of Jet fans being on the same page and being happy. You know,
Most
I
definitely.
and I honestly believe, although I don't feel this way personally, I think the most unpopular pick would be Hamilton,
Yeah,
based
it
on my
would be.
feel of and that's just my feel of the chats. My feel of the chats, like from the YouTube content guys and the other guys in the chat rooms. My feel is that Hamilton is the least popular pick universally, but I wouldn't be mad, and I know Green Bean loves him, and there's parts of me like that would say, yeah, I understand the concern and I understand the whole position thing, but at the same time, it's hard not to be excited about a player like that. Like the potential and what he might be would be really exciting. Like, can you imagine having a guy that can hit the level of Troy or or Ed Reed or even Ronnie Lott? Can you imagine getting just a safety that plays both, run defense and pass defense at a Pro Bowl level for a safety? Like, and I mean, it just can really, really elevate the defense. I don't know what it means when you say, "Oh, too high for a safety." I mean, if he pans out like that, no one will be complaining down the road. Like, I think everybody will be really, like, as long as he works out and he's an absolute beast and stud, in the end, people will be okay with it and forgive it.
I mean, look at it this way. He's 6'4", he's 219. He has great instincts, he's very intelligent. And if you look at even with some numbers, so in 24 games with the Fighting Irish, he had 63 tackles, 4.5 were for a loss, 5 interceptions, 12 pass deflections. You know what this 32nd ranked defense really needed was playmakers. Like for instance, CJ Mosley, he made a ton of tackles. He was named the team MVP, but how many impact plays did he make during the course of the season? I could think of one off the top of my head. It was like a late sack that led to a turnover, but he was just like making the tackles. Now, Carl Lawson returning, I believe, will make a very impactful difference. We can get into the whole Achilles debate. That's for another day. I saw Cam Akers come back in 4 months. All right. I think Carl Lawson can come back too. All right. I have faith in Carl Lawson. But this defense needs impact players. I don't care if the defensive tackle. I don't care if it's safety. And Hamilton is a player who could potentially make a very big impact. Plus he has the leadership. He's respected as a human being, and we know how much Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh value that. So if they get Hamilton, if Hamilton somehow dropped to 10, I don't think he will. But if he did, then I would be very eager to take Kyle Hamilton. But 4 is a little risky.
Mm-hmm.
I get that, especially if you have like an elite pass rusher there, because the pass rush with this defense is what makes the difference. So if they were to do something like Iguanu at 4 and Hamilton at 10, I could really get behind that. I could go for that.
Well,
there would be very little slack with Hamilton. Like I'm expecting, like I'm not giving him like a grace period like I for one was giving Zach Wilson, coming in from BYU or somebody like that. No. This guy comes in, he needs to start right away, and he needs to be an impact player quickly. Like by the end of the first season, we have to know that we have one of the best safeties in football. That's it.
Look, Jeremy's rule is if we didn't take him at 4 and he slips to 10, you got to take him. My second to that rule, I have 2 rules of this draft. If he's there at 10, you have to take Hamilton if you didn't take him at 4, because I wouldn't even be mad at 4. And my other rule is, because it happened in a mock draft, not that it'll happen, but if for some freaky reason Lindenbaum dropped to our second round pick, you have to take him. You have to take him.
Do you think it's possible?
I don't think it's possible. I think that PFN is full of shit. But like, I think PFN, the algorithms allow on any given draft that you do a certain player to slip. Is it possible? Okay, here's the only argument I can make of why it would be possible. And I'll give you the argument of why it wouldn't be possible.
Okay.
The argument of why it would be possible is Creed Humphreys. I know
I
he's
was just
not as
thinking
good as
about that.
Lindenbaum. I know he's not as good as Lindenbaum, but the amount of spots he fell is shocking. It's startling. I wouldn't have been mad if we took Creed Humphrey with our second pick last year.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? I would have been totally fine with that. Like Zach Wilson, and you take no trade. Creed Humphrey, you keep your third rounders. We were talking about it. Like I was like, like, hey, everybody, there were people screaming, okay, like before it was, as we were coming down the draft after Zach, Creed was one of the people we were looking at and considering. Some people said he might be around for the second round pick. I remember at the time, so they were saying, oh, what do you do? But the fact that he went to the end of the second round is insane. Now, on the other side of that, the reason that he can't slip is because I don't see how it's possible if he's there that the Dallas Cowboys wouldn't take him. And I'm just saying from talking to Dallas fans, their wildest dream is that Lindenbaum slips to them. So according to them in the Dallas Cowboy world, Lindenbaum is not slipping past Dallas.
And where the Cowboys pick early 20s, I would imagine.
Yeah, they're somewhere like 23, 24, something like that.
And see, my thought is after I think a lot of teams realize they made a mistake by not drafting Creed Humphrey when they have the opportunity, they're not going to want to repeat that mistake. That's why I think it's actually less likely that Linderbaum falls. And also keep this in mind: how many other really good centers are there in this draft? Jared Patterson pulled out; he's going back to school. We have Alec Lindstrom from Boston College, and he's projected really as more of a third round pick.
Yeah.
If you don't get Linderbaum, you're almost SOL at center. Mm-hmm. This is not a deep draft for centers, to say the least.
No, not at all. I mean, it was 3 guys. Now it's 2.
Yep, down to 2. That's it. And maybe that's one reason why the Jets decided to give Zion Johnson a chance at center during the Senior Bowl. They wanted to see if he could fill that role. Right.
So J. Cole loves Jermaine Johnson. Jets Mess, by the way, made a comment about my shirt. It used to be purple, but then I started eating. We got 19 people in the chat in the stream right now. I don't know how many likes we have. We got off to a great start. Hopefully, we're holding
18
down the fort.
Yeah, 18 likes I got.
Oh my God, I love you guys.
Awesome, thank you.
Braden, who I got to hang out with a little bit before. I think I was making him laugh. I don't know because it was hard to say. Like when we were looking at the little heads on Zoom, you don't know why people are laughing. But at one point during our little Zoom call, I pulled out my wafers, and I was holding up my wafers and kind of eating a couple, and it looked like Braden was laughing, and he looked a little amused. And I thought maybe he's noticing that I'm eating these wafers and building a little bit of a reputation here. So
the wafers are still hanging on. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hamilton is there at 10, maybe, but everything depends on free agency and who's still on the board. Yeah, I mean that's a great statement because while I'm saying we have to take Hamilton if he's there at 10, maybe Aquano is there and we already got Thibodeau. So if we already had Thibodeau and they didn't take Hamilton and they took now we have Thibodeau, we get him. Let's imagine that happened, right? Yay! Then 10 comes along. We have a choice of Hamilton or Aquano. Obviously, my rule goes out the window because if they take Aquano, I'm not complaining. Because now we just added Thibodeau and Aquano in the trenches, and it's completely something that's reasonable and easy to see Joe Douglas doing. Because if you looked at their end of the year press conference, it's exactly what they talked about.
Right.
So
all about those trenches. So, and yeah, even with free agency. So I'll go to another thing Gitmo Bob referenced here, everything depending on free agency. What if they sign one of these safeties in free agency? Bass, Williams, Reed. I will take any one of those 3. If you get one of them, you have a little bit less of a need for a Kyle Hamilton at safety. But I am of the opinion I want two safeties. Draft free agency, however it has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think safety is deep. I think it's about if you look at both free agency and the draft, that might be the deepest position when you factor in both. because I think wide receiver is, I think, deeper in the draft. Free agency, I feel like not as much, especially with the injuries to Godwin and to Gallup. Pass rusher, I think is not very strong at all in free agents. Safety intrigues me. So I think that is really a chance to make an impact. And you may not even have to do it with Kyle Hamilton. I mean, guys like a Jalen Petrie. I mean, I've been big on Verone McKinley. That's a guy I would take in the 3rd or 4th round. So those are some other guys to watch out for.
Yeah. It's interesting because no matter like you say that about the safeties, and you're right. Like there's so much depth because it's free agency and the draft. It's a great place to go 1-1. I think it's a great draft for tight end as far as not top heavy, but just deep. Depth. Right? Safety has a lot of players.
Starters.
I also think, and it might be top heavy. It might take a big drop, but I think there's I haven't been following it only for the last couple of years, the draft this intently. Like I was never this into it, but it feels like there's a lot of possible cornerbacks too that I'm used to. Like I always feel like corner is such a hard position, and there's like sometimes 1 or 2 guys, and then everyone else is just rolling the dice. And this year, I kind of feel like Stingley. I mean, people jumped off the boat way too hard. I understand. Okay, maybe his injuries and the drop off because of it, he's too risky for top 5 for people, but people are going way overboard on being down on Stingley. If you look at this guy and you look at the tape, he is a phenomenal athlete and could be a very special player. And then you talk about Sauce Gardner and Roger McCreary and Kyle Gordon and even this guy that none of us seem to like, Hilaire or whatever his name is. He was, he's dropped a little bit. He's still around the end of the 1st round. And then this guy Booth. So there's a lot of guys out there that people are high on at cornerback.
Yeah, Booth is interesting. Like PFN ranks him pretty high, like 5th. I mean, he is only 6 feet tall. And with MC2, I think we got slot corner pretty good. I think we need more of an outside corner. But Absolutely. Just to go back to what you said about Stingley being a phenomenal athlete, you know who else was a phenomenal athlete in the secondary? Ashton Davis.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. There's no such thing as a no-risk pick when it comes to injuries. Yeah. But we are not in a position to take a player like this with this type of an injury history. I'm sorry. And again, this is not a defense that prioritizes the play of the cornerback. Could they use one? Of course. You can't have enough corners, really, good corners, in a league that prioritizes offense as much as it does. But, yeah, like a Kyler Gordon, a Roger McCreary, Tariq Woolen from UTSA, that's a guy who I think has been turning some heads recently. And some people are high on who's the other guy? Mario Goodrich from Clemson. I've heard some people talk him up a little bit. Don't know if he's a fit for the Jets, but he's been getting some pretty high praise too as a guy who can contribute. So, but yeah, you could definitely get a cornerback with one of those late picks. I agree with that.
Yeah. Well, that would be great if it's just different boards of what website you go to. But the reality is we'll see what the GMs do in real life. And, if we can grab one of those guys fall back a little further than we thought, that would be exciting. We were watching, you were there, right? Were you with us when we were watching McCreary's tape? Roger McCreary?
Oh, yeah, I was there.
Yeah, that was pretty spectacular. That was
fun.
Yeah. I'm not going to take an intermission and eat. Mess, you know me. I'm not shy. People want to see me eat. Yeah, right. Somebody slips every year. Yeah, people slip. There's always going to be people who slip. It's just hopefully it'll be in the right value for us. It'll be in one of our positions of need. That's what we're hoping, right? So Dom C chimes in. Lyndon Melton probably won't get by Philly with 3 picks in the first 20. That's a really good point. They have 3 picks. So if anyone could afford to take a center with the first round pick, it's Philly. Because they can hit all areas, right? So why not?
Yep.
Yeah, there's no reason why they should.
I mean, Philly's a pretty decent team, but they definitely need to supplement the offense. They got to make things as easy for Jalen Hurts as they can because he has to prove that he can step his game up a couple of levels. He may be a weapon, but he has to prove he can win a game, actually throwing the ball, winning a game from the pocket.
Yeah. So apparently there's 22 likes showing. Thank you, everybody. And we got people jumping in from everywhere. We got Braden from New Zealand. I see Thomas Kale is here now. That's awesome to see. John Amarillo is in the house. How are you, buddy? I haven't seen you in a while. AC, my North Carolina buddy, is back. AC, I don't know how much you aware of this you are, but my brother Matthew was in North Carolina in Apex, right by Cary and Raleigh and all those places in the Triangle. So
that's it.
You're so close to, like, the next time you go visit, you're so close to a cravat. And let's see what Green Bean has to say. If the Jets don't take Hamilton at 10, if he's there, I have to admit I would be disappointed. Studs are studs. Studs at a position of need are even better. Yeah, I mean, that's how I kind of feel about it. But Iquano is also a fucking animal. So it's hard to – I mean, again, it's like hard to – we're going to be – it's like a glass half empty, glass half full. So I think how people are going to react. Like, are you going to be disappointed about the player we didn't take, or are you going to be excited about the player we do take? Or are you a person that's going to be a little both? I'm happy, but I'm kind of sad. I'm happy, but I'm kind of sad. I don't know. I just know that I know some people will be, but no matter what happens, I don't see myself being furious unless they take like a defensive tackle with the 4th pick. Then I'll be furious.
That infamous defensive tackle. I think our reactions all pretty much be, okay, cool. They addressed this, but they didn't address this. We got to get this next. We're missing this. We're still missing this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Is it me, or every year do we say we can address every hole in one off season? I feel like that's been our mantra going back to when Mike McCagnon came in and tried to fix John Idzik's mess. And I'm still saying it. I don't, we're not going to be a complete team this year. But what you want to do is establish those cornerstones, those foundational pieces, and then it becomes easier to then we'll have fewer needs. Like, we should have way fewer needs next year than we have right now. Way fewer. Like, right now, there's hardly a position that we can't use a decent upgrade at. Quarterback, left guard, I mean, not a whole heck of a lot besides that. I mean, as much as the defensive line underachieved, why else are we talking about an edge rusher so early? Yeah. So, there are very few positions that the Jets could target that would not make sense. I do think defensive tackle needs to be addressed, though, at some point, because we don't have a player who could stop the run. I'm sorry, we don't.
No, we definitely need help in that area. But moving JFM to the inside might help. So if we improve the outside, move JFM in. Yeah. So if you move JFM in, then you got, as your starters, Quinn Williams and JFM. And then if we did get like a Thibodeau or a Jermaine Johnson or a Hutch, one of the guys we like, and they pan out, and you got Carl Lawson comes back, like these other players seem to be. The exciting thing about the Achilles, like the good news is that it seems like very recently, in the last couple of years, there's been a big turnaround and a lot of success and guys coming back and being able to regain their form. We could have a very special offensive line if we end up getting Thibodeau or one of those guys, and they work out and Lawson comes back at full strength and you move JFM to the inside. It's starting to look exciting, right? And then I could see us in the 4th round adding some depth there, or free agency, like letting Rankins and Fadokasi, not signing them, but bringing in new blood and maybe finding a run stuffer that way. I don't know. We'll have to see. But we definitely need to change things up a little. You're right. I mean, they were, it was like a hot knife through butter. Like in some of those games, it was kind of pathetic. Could not stop the run. So I liked this guy Petrie too in the senior bowl. He was all over the place. I was calling that out to Green Bean every time he did something. I said, I like this safety, because the night before or 2 nights before, I had convinced Jay Cole, who's doing the mock draft, he was in charge, and I convinced him to take him. And then the Senior Bowl comes along and he has a great game. So that was exciting. It was like we were all like, I knew it. See?
The Senior Bowl justified our predictions. Okay,
that's right.
Yes. The Combine, you're going to be even stronger in your convictions. Yeah. Look at this 40 time. It's going to happen.
I'll never argue with this. Build the wall. No one can ever deny it. You can argue all the other things you want, but there's nothing bad about building the wall. So here's how I feel. Like I feel like when 2020 was over, we were at our lowest low. And if you would have told me that Becton would be a little bit of a question mark after an injury and his work ethic being put in question, and he has to compete for his spot. I mean, I still believe in the end he's going to get his spot. Probably 80% at left tackle, 20% chance in my mind he goes to right tackle, but he's going to play and be a stud, right? But if you told me that Mims would be in the situation he is, where we have to hope and pray that he comes to camp and is a totally different player and turns it around, and this was just a blip in his life. Without that, it's like it's even more than we thought, because we really thought at the end of 2020, well, at least we have Mims, we have Mims, and a lot of us thought there was potential in Bryce Hall, and we had Becton, and really there wasn't a lot going on for us. I mean, Marcus May, good safety, but a guy that was going to need to be paid. So, I mean, it wasn't looking very good. And now at the end of this year, I kind of feel like, okay, we got a running back that to me looks, if he could stay healthy, very special.
Yes.
We got a wide receiver that, in my opinion, I think he could be very special in Elijah Moore. Like, I'm very excited about him. I think he could be, I think people are not understanding enough how special he might be, because he was, before that injury at the end, and that's why I say he has to stay healthy. He was scoring a touchdown almost every week. He was getting a grasp of the offense and this league, and he was starting to become very special. So we got a running back, we got a wide receiver. For now, whether he works out or not, we got our quarterback, right? We have our quarterback. Whether he ends up being a franchise quarterback, people can say whatever they want. It's not a need right now. It's not something we're thinking about. We have our quarterback. So Bryce Hall ended up stepping up. Michael Carter II is clearly a top slot receiver. I mean, as a rookie, can you imagine how good he's going to get? I mean, so suddenly AVT at left guard. So suddenly George Fant's emergence, right? Whether he stays at left tackle or not, his year. We have a lot more at the end of 21 than we had at the end of 20.
No, unquestionably. That's absolutely true. Yeah. I mean, now I think in a lot of those spots you need another guy on the other side. Like, I love Bryce Hall, but it'd be nice to have another cornerback, because do we trust Brandon Echols to start? I don't think we're exactly there. Michael Carter, absolutely. I was thrilled. I was thrilled to see him drop to the Jets. I never thought that was a player that we would be able to get in the 4th round. All I needed to see was his draft reaction video when he screamed and fell to the floor. Like, right there, it's like, I got to get this guy's jersey. I love this guy already.
Right.
But how many bell cow running backs are there in the NFL right now? The answer is not a whole heck of a lot. I mean, you had Jerick McKinnon as like the feature back for Kansas City not that long ago. I mean, who thought that was ever going to happen? So It's one of those things. You got to throw in it with running back. You just throw enough stuff at the wall and see what sticks. I mean, I think P. Ryan's on his way out. I think Ty Johnson. I can't imagine. One of them definitely has to be gone, but I'd be surprised if both of them hang around. Do you think they bring back Tevin Coleman as a complimentary back? Would you keep him?
I think it depends what they do in the draft and free agency. Because it's hard to predict 100%. Like, if they go out and get like a pretty good running back, and sign him for $3 or $4 million or something that has a little bit more experience, then you might think that, that's it for Coleman. Maybe that, they go a little younger with that veteran running back. If they don't pick anyone and they take another kid in the draft, then I'm thinking Coleman is the 3rd, because you want that veteran guy. And we called it from the beginning of the season that health was going to be an issue with Coleman, but when he played, he was good.
Yes, he was.
He played well. So I wouldn't mind seeing him back, but I just don't think you could put yourself in a position where you rely on him too much and say, well, he can never be the guy where you're saying, oh man, we can't afford for him to get hurt. You don't want to be in that position.
Oh goodness, no. No, we don't need Frank Gore part 2. Not that he's that old, but even when the Jets beat the Rams, Frank Gore was like the biggest part of the offense. We definitely don't want that again. But running back looks to be quite deep in the draft, and there are some decent free agents. Like, I've always liked Melvin Gordon. I've been a fan of his since He was in college. Actually worked. It was actually weird. I worked security at a game that he played, Wisconsin Purdue. I know, all 5'8" of me working security. I must have been really intimidating that day in my bright orange vest, but man, that's neither here nor there. But Gordon's a guy I've always wanted to see on the Jets, and he's available. I mean, him and Carter together to me. So, and the funny thing is, last year, it was Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon in Denver. It'd be pretty cool, I think, if Gordon came to the Jets. Yeah. But it seems like every mock draft we talk about, that we do, Hassan Haskins. We got to get Hassan Haskins in the 5th round. We got people waving the double H banner. But, other guys are coming up. Brian Robinson from Alabama, Dameon Pierce from Florida, Jerome Ford from Cincy, and we all know who Green Bean loves, good old Rashad White from Arizona State. So I think 4th, 5th round, I can't imagine that the Jets don't find a way into the 6th or 7th round in this draft. I can't imagine that doesn't happen. But I definitely think 4th or 5th round running back will be a position that they draft.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, again, nothing is going to shock me completely because there are some good. Because I think if we learned anything about JD, if he loves somebody and values them enough, he's not so locked into position. And I think that he's looking at this as a long-term project. It's not long-term for years and years, but I don't think that this is the end of the project where it was last year and this year, and then boom, we were supposed to have a team. I think it's more like this is this year, and then next year is going to be another big part of it. And then I think the years after that are the touches, like where did we miss? Where can we improve? But I think it's last year, this year, and next year. And maybe a little bit in 20 when, but like if Becton works out, like we filled a little bit there, but that's how I'm kind of seeing it kind of play out. So it's possibly says, let me just secure the running back room for the next 5 years, by getting another guy and saying, there's certain things he's going to push off the next year and just fill in again, because even with knowing that we have to save about $20 million, for the free agents. I mean, for the draft picks.
The draft class, yeah.
When you do the math, depending on who we sign, it's not going to bring in a load of players. You're talking about 2 or 3, players, like depending on how big of a star they are, right? If you get too big of a star, it might be just 2 players, a star and just an okay player. Literally, the money goes that fast when you have to pay $20 million for a guy. But anyway. There's still more holes than there are spots that we're going to get, like capital. Like even with the money in the draft picks, we're still going to fall short. We might spread it out and look a little bit more complete, but we're not going to have the depth. There's going to be rooms that still don't have depth, and if there are injuries, we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, as much as we liked a lot of the undrafted free agents, at the end of the day, who was the one who stuck on the roster all year? It was Isaiah Dunn. And I think that was really more about the contract that he got. It wasn't about the way that he played on the field by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, he couldn't sniff the field for a good chunk of the season until injuries started to happen. We love Kenny Aboa, but he was primarily a special teamer.
Yeah.
So, even if you get some good undrafted free agent, it seems like every year we get 1 or 2 undrafted free agents. I mean, Bryce Huff in 2020. When people knock the draft class, I think you also have to include undrafted free agents. And I think Bryce Huff to me is the best undrafted free agent Joe Douglas has found so far. So I will factor that in. But yeah, next year, the Jets have picks 1 through 6. They have 1 pick in rounds 1 through 6. They don't have the extra draft capital that they have this year. And I expect that they're also going to have less cap space to use next year as well.
Yeah.
So we could talk about it being, I think this is the year you take the big step. Like if we take a little step, like we win like 5-6 games, I'm telling you guys, going from 6 wins to the playoffs next year, that is like climbing Mount Everest. That is going to be hard to do. There has to be a major jump this season, this freaking season. We have to see it because this is where you have the most money to spend. This is where you have the most assets, and this is what you got to take advantage of.
Yeah, we need really, I was saying 7. But the truth is, we need a minimum of 8. We really got to find a way to win 8 games. We really, to really feel that we're getting somewhere. I think if we win 8, part of the reason we win 8, not more, could be because understand we are going to be starting rookies again, right? Because a lot of these draft picks are going to be starting rookies, and we have to remember that none of these guys are in their prime yet. Like they're rookies. They're going to all get better because typically these players get better. They just do. If you look at almost any good player in the NFL and look at their stats, they got better. Like their rookie year was not a great year. Like they had a good year maybe, but like look at any of them. Players for the most part tend to get much, much better as you go. So I think that the rookies we had this year are going to get better, like Elijah Moore, Michael Carter, and AVT. They're going to just get better, and that's great. The only problem I have with this next year is that we might literally be starting another 4 to 5 rookies. So there might be a learning curve for them. But if we win 8 games, but we see great improvement towards the end and those guys are panning out, now all of a sudden we have 10 guys we're talking about that have been drafted in the past 2 years that we're going crazy about, that are all starting to bubble and everything. I think that we'll be okay because we'll get better even with a lot of the same roster just by them growing and becoming better players. Zach Wilson being the biggest example, right? If in a couple of years, Zach Wilson, and I know I'm not saying he's going to, I hate when people just assume it's going to happen, but if Zach Wilson was to take the Josh Allen like growth spurt, like if he was to follow that path, that on its own makes such a much better team. The rookie Zach Wilson from last year, if in 24 or 23, he's playing like Josh Allen's, third year, obviously we're a different team.
Yeah, most definitely. And for Josh Allen to be Josh Allen, he had to have the supporting system that he has. I still believe if he had been a Jet, he might have wound up being traded just like Sam Darnold wound up being.
Yeah.
I still believe that. But you know what I really want more than anything? I want by week I'm not going to say week 18, but at least week 17. I want to go to the Yahoo or the ESPN playoff scenario generator. I want to plug in a couple of results, and I want a realistic, feasible way that the Jets can make the playoffs. I'm not asking for a division title yet. I want to be in contention, and I want this team to be respected around the league as a team that is on the rise and is worth playing for. I don't want to hear from frickin' Dick Butkus ripping us saying we're already out of playoff contention. Shut your mouth, Dick. I don't need to hear from him. All right.
Right.
So I want people like him to shut their mouths. Mark Schlereth, go kick rocks barefoot. It's time to get out of that, and it's time to earn our respect back. And 12 months from now, we better start to earn it back.
Yeah, I hate those guys who just go with the safe thing of continue. Just go out there and say bad teams are going to be bad the next year. Such a bold thing for people to do. Wow. Be different. Talk about the team, understand why they could be good. I mean, be a real analyst. I want to welcome Captain K Techno to the chat. He's in Ireland, so I appreciate him being here. I don't know what crazy an hour it is where you are, but thanks for being here, Alon. Hope you're doing well, and I look forward to getting him on a stream soon again. He was great with me and Green Bean on the Worldwide Jet Show. Jared Hamuth is in the chat. Okay, welcome and thank you for being here. So Jared says, so if Jameson Williams is there at 35, do you take him? Can the Jets afford to use a premium pick? Someone that won't be ready for the start of the season. That's interesting. I wouldn't be mad because of the fact it would have been better last year. Because of what Adam is saying right now, that we have to take that step to, 8 or 9 wins. Like we really want to take that big jump. So obviously if Jameson Williams doesn't play a lot, it takes away a lot of that, ability to improve and take that jump that we really, I think, need as Jet fans to see. But at the same time, all these guys come back from ACL now. Like that's just a common injury. I mean, it's, like Tommy John for pitchers. Like they've all had it in college or in the minor leagues, now it's like nowadays, there's doctors have said there's no reason why he won't regain his full speed, be that 4.3, 4.4 guy. So I don't know. What do you think, Adam? I mean, how would you feel if they took Jameson Williams with the 35th pick?
I would be intrigued by it. I'd be like, okay, all right, fine, I get it. Realizing that, so if we're being realistic with Jameson Williams, if he tore his ACL in the championship game, I guess is a realistic time frame for him, maybe like midway through the season. Is that fair? Like, can we expect half a season from him? I feel like this is a tough call.
He's young. I mean, there's a chance.
I don't know if I can. Yeah, I mean, put it this way: you still have some other guys. You have who else? Wilson, Burks, Olave, London. Not that they're all dropping to the second round, but even after that, you've got. I even like John Mechie a lot. I mean, he's coming off a torn ACL too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Justin Rosses of the world. There's a lot of good wide receivers who can contribute, but this isn't about 1 year. This is about the long haul. If they believe Williams, despite the injury, is the best long-term wide receiver prospect, and he's there at 35, I understand it. But but to me, he has to be well above and beyond everybody else who's on the board at that point. So
here's going to be my incredibly wild take that I haven't made since the days of chaos and calmness. And you're going to have to play the role of Frankie and get and have the reaction to my.
All right, I'll get my spreadsheet ready.
I think that Jameson Williams is going to slip all the way to the third round.
Ooh, oh, that is a hot take right there. That is a hot take. All the way to the third round. So I could even, if he starts to fall even halfway through the second round, I could see somebody trading up to go get him late in the second because they would think it's such a steal. But it could happen. I mean, hey, just about anything could happen in the draft.
Yeah.
Third round. So well, let's put it this way: if he slips to that third round pick, then do you take him?
Oh hell yeah! Oh hell yeah!
I would think so.
Just like I would say you take Mechie. Yeah, hell yeah! When it gets to that kind of thing, because the
third round.
And I know people don't want to hear this because you want every pick to work out, but it's not the same thing if you miss it on a third round pick than if you miss on a first round pick. It's just simply not the same thing.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? It's like. Because it's so common, I think like let's look at how many people let's pick a draft maybe we'll do this next time and because I know you're really good at this stuff. Like pick a year like 2016. Look at the third round, and for next show let's talk about how many would you consider? How many are starters? Like because third round starters, like if you're an okay starter, that's a good pick, right? Third round. So third round, you fill a hole, you have a good starter. So why don't we figure out what percentage of the 2016 third round ended up what you would consider, and you can define it at the time, a good pick.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely. We could do that.
How many were a bust? Like how many aren't around anymore? How many never really?
Yeah, like we could legit player, okay player, bust. I think 3 levels. I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. Just so we understand what we're risking if we do something like that in the third round.
And please let's not talk about the second round that year. That's when we drafted Hackenberg, okay?
I have to put this up even though it's not relevant. J. Cole is a very special fan. I like him because he's at an age where he could so easily, without question, I mean, by a mile, be my son. I'm old enough to be his dad and then some. So it's kind of interesting. He's a good kid. He's old. He's younger than a lot of my former students, which is so strange to me. But he also is a big, strong guy who played football. So I kind of feel like when I go to a Jets game one day, just in case I have some enemies from this YouTube thing, if I ever get any threats or anything, I'm going to take J. Cole with me, and I'm going to be safe because the kid's an animal. It's like, so I can go to the Jet game and not worry that anybody's going to beat me up or anything.
So if you're president, who would you make vice president? You'd have a lot of candidates to pick from.
I know. It'd be hard to not to obviously, you think Green Bean, but then you think
He'd overshadow you. It wouldn't work out.
You think Matt O'Leary, just a really solid, level-headed guy to control my chaos.
Frankie, you need the the calm to counter the chaos.
Yeah,
This is very true.
exactly. Frankie.
Ali might make sense. I can see Ali doing it.
Oh, yeah. Well, Ali is, he's super competent, super smart, brilliant kid.
And he works, and he works his ass off.
Yeah. He's like, the guy is doing everything, right? He goes to college and he's doing more than most people do, like professionally. He puts as many hours in like a real job, and he's going to college. I mean, and he does everything successfully, because look at his success. I mean, the guy is a credentialed, be at the Senior Bowl, did it when he was a kid, driven. So he'd be a great pick.
Yeah,
my wife is going to get mad at me because she'll say, "Why not me?" My wife, she wants to be like, if I ever even said, "Oh, that person would be a good partner on The Amazing Race," my wife gets mad. What do you mean? I'd be your partner.
Well, you still got to create a whole cabinet. So
yeah. My
lots
wife
of positions.
My wife could be Secretary of Defense. So
Yeah, J. Cole would be Secretary of Soup. We know that.
Yeah. It sounds like Thomas Cahill is saying that that Namath is being negative. The former players being negative, it just bothers me, because I'm sorry. I remember. I'm old enough to remember when Joe Namath was a broadcaster and calling games. And look, I like what he did for the team. I'm not trying to disrespect Joe Namath, but let's just say he's not the sharpest bulb or the sharpest knife in the drawer, or the brightest bulb in the room.
You're like Chris Russoing it. Yeah, the cream rises to the crop.
I mean, he wasn't known for his intelligence. What can I tell you? So, I don't understand negativity on young players, because they haven't had a chance to develop and prove themselves yet. We know nothing about them yet. So, all we know about Zach is one thing. He got better as the season went on. Like, that's what you should take away as a Jets fan. He got better as the season went on. Does that mean he's going to be great? We don't know. But it's much better than if he got worse. We
know he has raw talent. I could see Joe. Joe is not like a scrambling quarterback, and his knees were done in college. Like when I believe when he was initially examined after the draft, his knees were examined. The Jets doctor said, "Well, we're going to have to operate on him. Maybe he'll have 4 years." Well, 4 years is what it took him to win the Super Bowl, and he lasted a few more years after that. So I think Joe would probably have this perception about the new style of quarterback, these mobile quarterback. Do you think he feels the same way about Josh Allen? Josh Allen runs as much as any quarterback in the league. Is he concerned about his size? I wouldn't think so, considering that Allen's a pretty big SOB. So,
yeah, I mean, and my brother says all the time, like, that when we were watching a covering of the Bills game, Kansas City game, saying, I don't like it. He's running too much. It's like, I understand it's good, it's effective for now, but I wouldn't feel good as a fan that he's going to have longevity, because quarterbacks who run that much don't have the longevity. And I think that Zach's balance is really good. I think use your escapability, run when you have to, but we're not running him up and down the field. And what I love about Zach is people don't understand, this wasn't him getting to play in his comfort zone. They're trying to create and build up his ability to be a pocket passer. And he did it. Like, he stayed in there and he got better at it. And that's what's going to make him, to me, potentially great in the long run. That he's going into the zone, he's going out of his comfort zone, and he's trying to improve and grow in areas. We don't have to worry about the escapability, running, making athletic plays, Zach Wilson. That's going to be there. What's going to make him great or not great is, can he develop into a great pocket passer? So I know what LaFleur and Saleh was doing. I totally get it. And why they were having him stay in the pocket. This is not about just that game or just this season. This is about developing and building a great quarterback.
Yeah, the escapability is definitely my favorite thing about Zach Wilson. He's willing to run. Like, his escapability to me was on the level of Ben Roethlisberger. It was that impressive to me. Some of the things that he was able to weasel his way out of, for lack of better words. But yeah, definitely seeing him grow but the thing with him as a pocket passer, they want to do that, but I feel like the majority of these offensive linemen are, in fact, almost all of them are superior run blockers than they are pass blockers. Morgan Moses, completely better as a run blocker. AVT, consistent run blocker. Becton's a little bit better as a run blocker. I think George Fant may be the one exception that I could think of who's a better pass blocker than he is run blocker. So how do we balance this? It's kind of a rhetorical question, but for an offense that is supposed to be run first, but you also want to develop Zach as a pocket passer, how do you do that? I mean, are you going to focus more on run blocking offensive linemen, pass blocking offensive linemen? That's something to really factor in. And, what offensive lineman, like Aquanu or Evan Neal, whoever it might be, who is going, Alec Lindstrom, who's going, Tyler Linderbaum, who's going to fit in for the type of offensive line that they are envisioning?
Yeah. That totally makes sense.
Yeah. I'm just very interested to see how this thing all comes together. And I don't care who plays left side, right side, Fant, Becton, they can play them wherever they want. Doesn't matter to me. Whatever combination they can move Connor McGovern to left tackle for all I care. Just give me the most effective offensive line possible. The one thing
whatever works best
is
for the
left
team.
freaking guard. That's it.
Whatever works best for the team. I just want to be able to run up and down the field. I don't want it to be we can run the ball against Jacksonville, but then we suck against Buffalo. No, I want to be like I want an offensive line like Indianapolis. I want an elite offensive line. I mean, like that can beat up anybody. That can own the field against anybody on any given day, and that's consistent. I know every game doesn't work out for any team where every unit has their bad weeks, but we've got to have. I want an offensive line that on most weeks, on almost every week, is like pretty much what other teams are going to fear. Like, how are we going to deal with these five guys because they're just blocking everybody.
And you know what? I'm pretty embarrassed to say I feel like during the Rex era, I almost took that offensive line for granted because we had such a good one for so long. Nick, Brick, Brandon Moore, and those types of guys, and even like the P. Kendalls of the world, guys like that, Kareem McKenzie, guys like that. I feel like even before that with Jason Fabini and Randy Thomas, of course, Kevin Mawai. I think as Jet fans, we got a little bit spoiled by the offensive line, and we didn't even know it. And then it became, Kelvin Beachum and Spencer Long. I'm not knocking those guys personally. They did what they could, and I'll still say Spencer Long was never healthy in his hand. That's why he couldn't snap the friggin' ball, which Todd Bowles should have figured out after the first quarter in that game in Miami. Not that I still have memories. I'm still haunted.
We're all haunted.
Ooh, the way that that is like the biggest thing that is, I think, is digressed besides head coaching, and dress is the offensive line was so good for so long, but then once Nick and Brick left, they never were able to replace those guys. And I think that has been one of the main reasons. Obviously, there are many, but I think it's maybe a primary reason we haven't touched the playoffs in 11 years.
Yeah. So Rusty is big on Maffei, big enough that he would trade away the fourth if Hutchinson isn't there and use Thibodeau or Lyman as trade bait. So obviously, we're learning that Rusty is big on Hutchinson, but not Thibodeau.
Oh, yeah. He's made that clear.
Yeah, this draft is well for future position. It's hard for me because I'm reading the opinions. I'm in the chat with 100, so I mix people's. The only thing I know with Rusty that I always remember and never forget are the things we have that we're locked in on together that we both like. Jeff Gunter, we love him, and like Jeff Gunter is a definitely 4th or 5th rounder. He's a day 3 edge that we like, that we would love to take a chance on. Just roll the dice on a guy like that. But I don't know if Maffei is going to go up to the 2nd round because of one game in the Senior Bowl. I don't know. We'll see.
I do like Thibodeau responding to some of the criticism publicly. Like, he knows what's being said about him. I'm glad that he's not hiding from it. So that gives me, like, I'm not a big college football watcher. I'm the first to say it. I never went to a school that had football aside from one class I took at NC State one summer. So I don't really have a team. For me to watch college football, there's got to be a story behind it. Mm-hmm. But I like to see how these guys react off the field as well as on the field to different things. And Thibodeau responding to, I think it was Todd McShay, who said he was going to fall out of the top 5 potentially. I kind of liked it. I feel like the guy's got a little bit of spunk. He's got a little attitude, and you know what? Nothing beats New York attitude. Nothing beats that.
Nothing like it. And talking about attitude, Mo Dean, I don't know if I've seen you in my chat yet. I remember you, Joe Mo Dean. I've seen you a lot. And Mo chimes in with, "Will win. The Jets will win if the Jets will win 6 games next year. Sell the team for some golf balls." For now, believe it or not, everybody, Mo Dean is a Jets fan. He just tends to be very negative. Uh, and it's hard to blame him. I mean, look, what have they done for us? I mean, they've broken our hearts, and some people are at that point where they're not going to be positive about the Jets until the Jets do something and start winning. So,
man, if you're like 20 years old or younger, I feel really bad for you because I mean, yeah, we thought we had it rough like in the 2000s and whatnot, those early 2000s and leading into the Rex era. But it's amazing to me that there's Jets fans now who aren't even going to remember that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, where's the time gone? I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you don't have vivid memories of those days. My goodness.
Yeah. Hey, Mo, no disrespect to Joe Namath. I love him as a player. I love what he did for the team. I love what he did historically. Joe Namath is responsible for the most relevant thing about the Jets, which is winning that Super Bowl, the most important game ever played, right? That they say. And I like flashy guys. I think he's funny. He makes me laugh. I'm just talking about, I don't know if he's like, he wasn't a good broadcaster, man. He just wasn't. And that's not insulting him as a person. He was a great quarterback, an NFL quarterback that won a Super Bowl. He wasn't a good broadcaster. I don't know that I'd be a good broadcaster. Hey, I'm not a good quarterback. It's okay. We're not all great at things. I'm just being honest that he just wasn't a very good broadcaster. It's just honest, Yeah,
he's always been very opinionated. Yeah, Joe's always been very opinionated. The interviews I've heard him do about what he feels the state of the team is. So to me, this is nothing unusual. This doesn't shock me that he has an opinion and that he's not 100% sold. He's like, at least he's not Greg Buttle. At least he's not a shill where everything is like sunshine and rainbows with this team.
Yeah.
I mean, that's painful to listen to.
Mo Dean hates Zach Wilson. I'm not going to put up the post, but he says he'd take a drunk name in over Zach Wilson. So, Zach Wilson is going to have to win him over. That's okay. That's okay. People have different opinions, and he might be right? Zach Wilson might never really get better, and we're all going to say, well, he was right. And if he turns out to be an amazing quarterback, hopefully Mo Dean will say I was wrong. Zach Wilson's a great quarterback. And I'm happy that he's a great quarterback because any Jet fan should be rooting for our players to do well.
I just appreciate people. Yeah, the attitude I can't believe is like, I told you all this guy was going to suck. Told you he was no good. Told you he was trash. It's like, okay, so you would rather be right than be happy.
No, I think he'd want to be wrong. I think if Zach Wilson,
but some people aren't like that. I don't think he is that way, but some people are like that way. I just don't understand a fan like that where they're making it more about themselves than they are the success of their team. I mean, I would love for Denzel Mims to turn into freaking Jerry Rice. I don't think it's happening, but I want to be wrong about him. So,
right? No, absolutely.
I wanted to be wrong about Todd Bowles, but I was completely down on him after one season, and I wish I'd been wrong. A lot of us did. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely, 100%. Like, there's no argument at all. It's like, anytime if there's a Jet that I don't like or I don't feel good about and I don't think was the right pick or what have you, I want to be proven wrong. I mean, if they turn around and win games for us, then I'm so glad I was wrong. I'm sitting there, one of the guys screaming that Berrios is not worth $9 million. Screw it, let him go. If we pay him 6.5, 7, or sign him for 7.5. And then he's just ridiculous and amazing and gets better and better and becomes like a Wesley Welker. I'm not going to sit there and people say, "Oh, you were wrong, Jeremy." And I'm not going to be upset that he turned out to be that good and he is worth $9 million. I'm going to say, thank God we were able to convince him to play for 7.5, and I was wrong. He's worth $9 million. You know what I mean? And I'll be happy I was wrong. Like with any of these players, I'm not a big Ryan Griffin fan. If we hold on to him and he ends up doing amazing things for us and wins us a clutch game or doesn't, and is great, I'm going to be happy. I'm not going to be mad and say, no, we don't like Ryan Griffin. I don't like him. I'm mad that he's doing well. Of course, I'm going to be thrilled that he's doing well. And Green Bean saw that firsthand because I said Ryan Griffin is trash. I swear to God. And on the next play, he scored a touchdown. The next play. And Green Bean put up Ryan Griffin is trash from me for like 3 different times throughout the entire watch party.
Oh boy. Maybe the next thing we should say is like Blake Cashman is injured. Maybe he'll actually be healthy at that point, the reverse psychology thing.
You know what's hysterical is these guys they're still talking about soup, and now they're talking about like is oatmeal soup.
I had to respond to that. Is the hot dog a sandwich? Like that one, I had to respond to that immediately. There's just no debate on that one.
Is oatmeal a soup?
I don't know. Maybe we should consult with the National Soup Council and see what they have to say on the matter. Right. There is a National Hot Dog and Sausage Council, actually. So it stands to reason there would be one for soup, too.
Yeah. Here's a guy that Rusty really likes, Azukanma. I can never say his name. Azukanma.
Double E or Eric? I'm good with that. Azukanama?
Azukanama. Oh.
I don't know. It just it flows.
I think we looked at his tape the first week before I called it Rusty's Diamonds. I think we looked at his tape.
Okay.
I think so. And he looks good. He's good. He's definitely good. Take Ahmad Sauce Gardner, a future Revis. Yeah, I like Gardner, man. I won't be unhappy. Jeremy, my wedding is going to be crazy. I'm going to take my shirt off and dance.
Oh, he actually meant wedding?
Oh, yeah. He's invited me to his wedding several times.
Oh, okay.
He sincerely wants me to go to his wedding.
He said weeding. I thought he actually meant weeding. That's like, I've never heard it called that, but okay.
Let me tell you, depending on when he gets married and if it works out with the timing and the dates and everything, it's just because a lot of people get married in June, and in my company, we're off in June. I will seriously go to his wedding. I love a New York wedding, man. New York wedding is cocktail.
I might have to experience one myself, yeah.
Oh, you haven't. I mean, you want to talk about food? New York wedding.
That's why else do people go to a wedding? I've never had another reason to go, really.
Well, you got to see in California, like North Carolina, other places I've been, you have to fight to make it that there's food, like a lot of food. Like they don't know how to do weddings compared to New York. Like when you talk about the cocktail hour and the buffet for the cocktail hour and all the food, and then you have the sit down dinner after you've already stuffed yourself, the open bar, and then the dessert with the whole dessert buffet. And like, it's just nothing like a New York wedding.
Man, you're making me hungry, and it's 11:20. Remember, I'm on Eastern time. This ain't good for me right now.
Look, so you see, you're working your way to an invitation too. So
that might take a while.
Okay, so let's change gears now before it gets too late and everybody misses it, and let's move over to Rusty's Diamonds. Okay, so I have all ready to go. Well, not completely ready to go, but ready enough. Let me share screen and get to the right page. It's always a little bit of an adventure. Okay, I'm going to share screen. Yes, I don't need the tips. We're going to share system audio.
Oh, I better plug in.
I'm going to click on this and say share.
There we go.
Okay, got it. And here we go.
Yeah, I'm going to max this. Yeah, I'm going to maximize this. There we go.
Okay, let me get off of this. Let me turn the audio up, but not too much, right? We decided that the audio shouldn't be up too much.
A little audio, yeah. A little audio is good for context.
Little audio, but not enough that you can't hear us.
Right.
Okay, and let me go to full screen. Big as possible for everybody. Okay, let me get rid of J. Cole.
Laptop looks good here, yeah.
Okay, wait a second. Where is the... Oh, did I get rid of I got rid of the banner by accident. That was the wrong thing to get rid of. I got to go to the comments. Hide current comment. There we go. Trying to make it as big as possible. There we go. Okay, Rusty. Yep, you got it, buddy. Thank you, Rusty. You've made my channel better. So Thomas Cahill, you love him? Well, we're going to get to see some of him right now together. It's a new segment called Rusty's Diamonds. It's not really new anymore.
Now, what number is Leo? Like, who are we looking for?
That's a good question. Rusty, do you know what number he is? Because they didn't use an arrow or point to him or anything. I mean, we're going to figure it out right now when he makes the tackle because if they're showing it. So I could always go back and replay it so we can watch it from the start of the play. But let's see what happens.
Obviously, he's in red.
Okay, so two guys just laid a monster hit. One of them is him. One of them looks like a safety because it looks like a single-digit number.
Oh, I think we just figured it out.
Who is it?
I think number like 5. The big guy who just rolled over is getting up right now. There he is.
Okay.
5, right in the middle linebacker.
Right in the middle linebacker. Okay, right in the middle. There he is.
It's like, where's Waldo? It's like, where's
Leo? Did you see him cut up to the middle to the open space?
That was fast.
That was fast. Great first step, right?
That was regular speed?
Huh?
That was regular speed.
That was regular speed.
Shoot.
Wow, he's fast.
He runs like a safety.
Yeah, and that was against number 9 Iowa. That was against Iowa. Holy shit. Number 9 in the country, Iowa. So that's not he's not playing garbage.
No.
Iowa has a good offensive lineman. I mean, they eat a lot of corn.
He's against some space. I want to see him take on like a lineman.
Okay, where is he here? Okay, I see
right he's got the space again. Look at this.
Yeah, he always finds that space.
Oh, tosses it back.
It was almost like he was looking for contact, but in a good way. Like, I want to knock this guy in his ass. Look at that. Goes right around him.
Through him. Running back doesn't see him.
And who are they playing? Purdue, 25 in the country, so you know they don't got scrubs.
Yeah. Purdue solid.
Boom, sack.
Closes well. No missteps. Good angles. He takes a good angle to the ball carrier to the quarterback.
Wow, I gotta rewind that because
please do.
He gets there so fast.
I was thinking offside.
So let's look at this. So that's the sack. Now watch this next play.
Okay, you gotta watch quickly. Oh my God!
Right through. I gotta see that again. Are they gonna show it in slow motion? If not, we need to watch it again. I'm gonna try to pause it right at the right moment. Through something.
2 good yards behind the line of scrimmage.
I can't even hit pause fast enough.
And there's 2 Army players there. That's not one player. That's 2. There's like a blocker trying to keep him off the ball carrier. He doesn't even look like he's that big of a guy, too, but he plays bigger than he is.
He's just an animal. He's like J. Cole. He's a guy who wants to take his shirt off and dance.
Are we sure this wasn't J. Cole's diamond? J. Cole Mining or something like that, like the coal miners, something like that.
Okay, so it looks like, I think, is he the one sprinting like he's going to come through the middle?
It seems like he's always sprinting.
Okay, so this guy, the guy 41 is going to push him up forward, and look who's coming. You could see him coming right through the offensive lineman.
This will not end well for Minnesota.
He's trying to break away and get away.
That was Filelli he beat, was it?
So I don't think. Oh, that would be amazing if it was Filelli. But what's amazing about that to me is you were just saying it, Adam. The angles. You could tell right away he's super smart because even when he had a turn to be able to get him, he took the right angle. Like he took, you know what I mean? Like he closes the space. It's like he's well trained on the basics. He's like focused on the hips, probably, you know. But even in full motion like that, with all that going on,
and he's ahead of everybody. Did you see how quickly he got ahead on that play? He was farther ahead than the defensive lineman on that play. Let's rewind that.
Do we use him as edge? Can this be an edge instead?
Watch, yeah, because he was ahead of the defensive lineman, unless he was playing on the line of scrimmage. Let's see where he starts this play. Look, he is ahead of everybody. Look, I'm pretty sure he is taking on the center. He's going right past the offensive line.
He went to the center like before the snap.
It's a blitz. Yeah, that has to be a blitz.
And look at
he's getting through.
Look at the balance. And then boom, he makes sure that he gets the leg wrapped.
Wow.
I hate it when guys miss tackles, man. I love this guy because you could see the technique. He wraps him up.
Do we have anybody in our front seven anywhere near that fast?
I'm shocked. How is this guy not rated higher? Because this is the most interesting tape I've seen as far as just total dominance over the other team.
Yeah, I mean, he's not big. He's not a big linebacker, but we need speed at linebacker, and he can provide that.
So
Yeah.
New York Jets fan is saying stop pausing, but we can't stop pausing. I don't think we're allowed to. I'm not allowed to show this. I think you're allowed to show college, but it's hard not to pause because if we don't pause, we miss it. But okay, I'll
play it through. Maybe play the play through, and then we can go back and replay it.
Okay,
maybe,
is that fair,
that
New York Jets fan? For because and by the way, welcome to the chat. I appreciate you being here. He just comes out of nowhere every time.
You know what? Just every play, start looking in the backfield because he'll be there before you know it. Okay, this one's a little different.
That's a little different, but let's see how he comes off the block.
Okay. Yeah, I think this way is working a little bit better because we can kind of go back and
right.
So he's waiting. Okay, hesitating there. Yep, right. Yep, right.
Is he covering his own right now for pass? Is that what he's doing?
It's definitely not a blitz. It's almost like he's like spying the quarterback.
You're right. He's spying the quarterback, but he was also covering like that little area, like
cutting off a running lane. It's like a zone.
Wow, he's smart, man. He's a good player.
If he's not a captain of that defense, I'd like to know who is. Oh, and even better, you know who his coach is, right?
Oh,
Jimmy Leonard, defensive coordinator at Wisconsin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love Jim Leonard.
Look at him coming up full speed. Look at this guy. He's so smart. Did you see that? Go back and watch his adjustment. Watch his adjustment to what the quarterback does. So not only does he pursue, he pursues with vision. Like he could totally see, he sees what's going on. He doesn't over pursue. Look at this. He makes the adjustment in the angle. That's beautiful. Rusty finds these guys, man.
Northwestern ain't great, but yeah, that was good. He knew where to go, and they couldn't stop it.
Oh, I'm not supposed to stop it yet. Yeah, well, look like just good run stuff.
Wait, where?
Oh wow.
Okay, there he is.
That's him in coverage. So you know how we have trouble stopping the screen?
I've heard about that.
Well, watch this guy play the screen. So
Did he switch numbers here? Is he? Wait, where is he now?
I don't even know.
Is he 45 now?
Maybe.
He may have changed numbers. That's 45 now.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, he changed numbers.
Maybe that's
okay. I was wondering. Okay.
He's 5 again. Against Purdue, he's 5.
Just watch for the really fast little white guy. That's what we got to do.
Oh my God, this guy's amazing.
He goes. That's a motor, guys. That is a motor. Well,
How many times is he going to just pop behind the line of scrimmage unblocked? Like he makes it feel like he's unblocked, but he's not.
Oh, you get a little shimmy there. You see that?
Yeah.
The Chanel shimmy.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
look at this guy. And he's going for the ball. I freaking
our defensive tackles can't do that. Yeah, there it is.
Here's the shimmy.
There's the shimmy.
Look at this.
Is that him on the outside?
Boom. Now you're going nowhere.
It's like he's using his agility and his speed to get around tackler. It's not like we're seeing him beat one-on-one coverage, but he's using his smarts and his shiftiness and his agility to get to the quarterback.
It's kind of like a wide receiver that's like remember Hogan, always open. Like he doesn't do it with athletic ability. He just knows how to find space.
There you go.
Wow.
Dang.
Wow, he hits like a Mack truck. How many good plays did he have against Army? How dominant is this guy?
Wow. I had Wisconsin only scored 13 points.
Oh my God, he's just unstoppable.
This won't end well. That's going to get stopped behind the field goal line.
45 again. He's 45 again. That's in a huge game against Indiana. A huge game.
Oh!
God.
Oh, I like that one. That tackle had some edge on it.
Yeah, it's hard not to be a Chanel fan right now. Like, how am I not going to be a fan of this guy?
So he was obviously Chanel number 5. We could figure that out. Did he go to 45 just to stop the jokes?
I don't know. Maybe.
And yes, I know that was horrible. Come on, let's be real.
Oh, I love the puns. Come on, you could do comedy sports with those kind of
All
puns.
day. I love comedy sports. Comedy sports is awesome.
Can you believe I did comedy sports for 3 years?
That's amazing. Yeah, I only had it in Chicago. I know they have it in Richmond, not far, but
Yeah, Richmond was a good team. I met all those guys.
okay.
My biggest run was in Sacramento. 3 years of every weekend performing.
Yeah, I've done like quite a bit of stand up and acting, but I've always been impressed with people who do improv. It just seems so like it took such talent to do that.
Yeah, it's just a muscle in your brain that you work.
One thing I will say, if I've got a concern, he does seem to be used like towards the line and he blitzes a lot, and that is not. We don't really blitz a ton with linebackers.
I know.
It's usually the middle linebacker, and he's playing the middle, like the C.J. Mosley spot. Does he fit this defense? That's my thing.
Well, we might not utilize him the way other people would. I mean, we do send in linebackers for a blitz sometimes, but we saw Quincy, Williams do it. But I will say we could think of it this way: the way he stopped that screen pass. I mean, he looked great in the zone, like just staying in that short zone. If they do screen passes, I don't know if the highlights just like to feature the big behind the scrimmage plays and they're just leaving out the pass coverage and the things like that. I mean, we don't know. They would scout that for sure, right? Yeah, Spooner, who should we do next, Spooner?
Maybe he could play outside. Maybe for now he could play outside because we definitely need an off-ball linebacker. So
yeah,
we could do that. Great.
Spooner, give me another guy that we haven't done yet. I remembered that you wanted Leo, and I'm forgetting who else you wanted. Was there a safety?
He had the fullback from Purdue. He was telling me that in the chat. He said I was going to love the fullback. Zarvin. Zaven. I know it was the Purdue fullback. Starts with a Z. So, but
Xander
Orvath. Yeah, that's the guy. So he said, yeah, he did say that was a guy we should look at.
How do you spell the last name?
Horvath. Tom's Kill wants Asimov.
I got it. So fullback, huh? Now that's we like to play a 21, right? So it's realistic. If we're thinking about this
how long is that one?
Well, this one is 1.1. This one has 1.2 views. Seems a little bit bigger.
Oh, 7 minutes versus 2 minutes. 7 minutes of Xander Orvath. 7 minutes of this guy.
We could play it through. We're almost done. We could just wrap up.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So let's let me make it big.
This would be like a late round or an undrafted free agent situation. I can't imagine many fullbacks are gonna get drafted early. All right, where are we looking? I guess that's probably
pass reception. So apparently he catches passes.
Looks pretty jacked. Can he drive it? Yeah. Yes, he can.
He drove it in.
He's got the ball. Not much blocking there. He had to create his own yards.
Yep. Wow.
Oh.
He's agile.
There he is right there.
Safety valve gets the first down and more.
Okay.
They'll send Horvath out. He's looking for Horvath. Send it to him at the 5.
He's an athlete. He's not just a blocker.
Yeah, he can go. Special teams?
Picks it up.
Oh, that's cool. I'm not sure how well it translates, but that's fun to watch.
Rusty's got a special knack for finding guys.
Oh, he's gonna keep going. Yeah. Oh, he dragged that pile.
Receivers in the passing game.
Got some space there. Takes it out.
Tucks it inside.
Wow.
And now another first down.
Fullback, right, Rusty? That's what you're thinking?
Yeah, certainly fullback from what I'm hearing. Oh, a screen pass.
Wow, he just goes through people. He loves contact.
He does not shy away. This is a guy who's going to take every extra yard. Another screen, 3 blockers.
Knows how to use them, too. Nice.
Yeah, patience. Yeah, you can see the patience there. Is he going to hit 3? Okay.
Wow.
I'm waiting for him to just truck over somebody, just to do like a barrel.
Oh, look at that. That took 3 guys, and he still dragged them 5 yards. Wow, he's gonna pop
How
out
did
of
he
it.
get through that?
He carries it down to the 10.
I like that one. I like that one.
Wow, that was fast.
Horvath. That's the longest Purdue run of the season. And
Wow.
he's inside the Indiana.
It's a fullback doing
Those
that.
plays too, especially on the ground. Horvath again.
He's
Inside.
getting some very good space, but yeah, okay, so there's some good yards after contact there.
Horvath
Okay.
is in. Here's Horvath. He's run well. Sheds
He got a good burst, good initial burst. Like he accelerates quickly.
That's too quick to grab and hold on. Here is Horvath. Bullies into the end zone.
I like him.
Aiden O'Connell, the sophomore walk-on, hands off to Horvath. Running with purpose today.
Wow.
We got that corner. I like how he got around.
Slips
like
the initial tackler. Across midfield, still rumbling. And a first down that'll momentarily stop the clock.
That's 4th down with 30 seconds left, so that's in a pretty big spot.
First down, slips a tackle, a stiff arm, and brought down. Inside.
They try to tackle him low, and he usually has a way of getting out of that.
And now a hole opens up and more for Horvath.
Whoa.
Oh!
Jeez.
Oh, yes, please show me that again.
BUL for the third time in that ball game to get the victory 24-20. And this guy had a big game at Iowa. Horvath, and he's starting off with a nice.
Oh, I thought he fumbled, but it was somebody's helmet that he knocked
Yeah,
off.
it was an Illinois helmet, yeah.
To the big back. Xander Horvath and Horvath. Horvath gets the call, and Horvath gets the first down.
We gotta check. We gotta
That-
check what he's
that-
projected to go.
That's a 3rd and 1, and he got that.
Great field position down 7. O'Connell thinking big, instead throws to Horvath. Horvath is
Oh my God! He just took that guy and threw him down to the ground like a
Ooh.
choke slam. He just choke slammed him.
Avoids that tackle. Again, they went low. They couldn't get him. They couldn't get him. Northwestern got into the backfield pretty quickly, but he managed to avoid the tackle there. That's pretty good. So he was able to think on his feet.
Wow.
Not a lot of space on that one.
Yeah, he's creating the buzz.
4th and 4. Are you kidding? No, he did not get this.
Oh
Oh my God.
Give me a break.
How did he do that one? That was awesome.
Now Horvath on a run. Horvath keeps his feet across midfield.
Jesus.
I can't get over that last play. That was 4th and 4, and he had no business getting that first down.
No business.
Okay, let's again to Rutgers. So how hard could this
Look
one
at
be?
this though. Dead in the water, and look what
He
he
loves
does.
doing that. He loves that that hurdle. Oh man, he and Ashton Davis could become hurdling buddies.
Screen pass. Horvath.
They love using this. How many times have we seen a screen pass to this guy?
Yeah,
Many.
I don't
Then-
mind. I don't mind having the guy we can screen to.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at
Particularly
this.
if they have the offensive line that can pull it off.
Deep back. Trying to punch
Is
it
this the
in,
new juice?
and got it.
Could this be our juice?
Oh yeah, juice check.
Yeah, juice.
I still like Nick. I'd still like to bring Nick Barton back, see what he could do. But you know, we were all talking about last year, like a Ben Mason or somebody like that, and it didn't quite happen. I am right. Yeah, I mean, how much more Trevon Wisco can we really watch?
Well, he'll be tight end for sure. The fullback thing is over, I think.
Underneath, Horvath. Now, can he get the first down? He does. The same.
Is that like a wildcat to him? It looked like they snapped it directly to him.
Might have been. Backfield, left side.
Wow.
I love how quick he is. He has quick feet.
He does not go down at first contact. It's always a fight.
Second and goal. Right back to Horvath, and he ran into his tight end, Payne Durham. The ball squirts out. A flag on the play. Answer of emotion.
That wasn't fun.
O'Connell to Horvath.
Well, they got to be honest and show everything.
Another screen
Down the tracks and into Tennessee.
against Tennessee. That's not too bad. That was in the Music City Bowl.
Thomas Cahill is sold. Gitmo Bob wants to know if he can block. And of course he throws in a little LaFraud.
Oh yes, he's still on the little fraud thing. It's not going to stop. I know.
Oh, until we win a Super Bowl, we're not gonna get rid of the LaFraud thing.
No, we're not. I did pull up Pro Football Network, and Horvath was rated, I believe, the third ranked fullback. And the ironic thing is, Mike Allstott wore number 40 at Purdue before he went on to Tampa Bay and played fullback. So this is like pretty similar. I'm just looking to see what else PFN has to say. Strong, athletic, solid pass catcher out of the backfield. We all saw that. It says, moreover, he has displayed blocking ability during his Purdue career that will be extremely valuable at the next level. So It's hard to put that in the stats, but the write-up here does mention something about his blocking. So that does help.
Wow. And Spooner says it. So if Spooner says he can block, I think he's earning his stripes, Gitmo. We got to trust Spooner. Because these guys, every guy he's recommending is, you got to admit it, they're fun as hell to watch.
Yeah. And you know what else is interesting here with linebacker? I'm looking at the top 5 fullbacks. So the number 1 fullback they have listed is Jeremiah Hall from Oklahoma. You know who the number two fullback is? This is great. John Chanel from Wisconsin.
Oh my God.
I don't know if Rusty knew that, but there's a Chanel fullback at Wisconsin. That's pretty crazy.
I wonder if it's his brother.
But it's true.
That is crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Well, guys, it is getting late. I know it's late for you, Adam.
Yeah, like I said, it's a good thing I'm working 11 to 8 tomorrow Eastern. So, I'll get through it.
I would like to thank everybody who came by in the chat. I want to thank also the people that watch the video when they can't watch it live. There's a lot of them out there because I see the numbers and the numbers go up. And I'm really flattered by the fact that it's not just people checking it out for 2 minutes, because I can see all those stats. And people watch the replay of this and they watch it for a long time. And that's really, that says it all. That means the world to, I think, Adam too, that it's not that like clicking on it for 2 seconds and leaving. So I appreciate that. Adam, I appreciate you. You the last 2 weeks you've made the show a million times better.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Truly appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody that was here. I know that, like, for example, if someone who's going to watch it later, I know that Haider Ali always watches it. Like there's guys who can't make it, like Liberal Irishmen, and just so many guys who end up coming back and watching the replay because they're just in a position they just can't watch the whole show. So I appreciate all of them. Appreciate everybody that was here in the chat. Appreciate Green Bean. You could tell when you for being here tonight in the chat, but also when you look at all the names up here, you can tell how everybody found me and why everybody knows who I am. It's has a lot to do with Green Bean. Anyway, anything else you're doing you want to talk about, Adam?
Not so much. I mean, as far as Jets, what are you doing for the Super Bowl? Are you doing like another live watch? What do you have going on?
I think we're going to do a portion, maybe not the whole thing, but we might do a get together. Like I'll announce the time and we can get together and talk and everything. And if my brother and I will do it, if you want to jump in with us, you can always.
Yeah, we'll see. I might be getting together with a group and going out. We'll see at this point. I'll actually be watching this year because I refused to watch whenever Brady was playing. I would boycott.
But you'll be backstage and probably on tomorrow night at some point. Like you'll definitely be on because you'll do your trivia tonight on Green Bean Show on Thursday night. I
got to come up with an extra hard one now because he got it right last week.
That's right. You
got to turn the heat up a little bit.
You got to stump him. And I'll be back on Friday night. We'll do a mock and some other things. We'll talk. We'll hang out. You guys will watch me eat. And yeah. I might jump in on Saturday. I'm trying to get this Dallas Cowboy fan. I know I keep promising that, but there's a couple of people I'm trying to bring on for other teams to do a draft with. So this might be the Saturday you might see me on doing a draft with a Dallas Cowboy fan, and we'll see if he takes Linderbaum. And maybe I'll see Sunday too. So I might be. You might see me a lot of days in a row, and again, I'll be backstage for Green Bean tomorrow. And usually you might see me do a little pop in at the end, possibly. It's always fun. And we will, of course, be back next week for another Wacky Wednesday. I think I'm getting kind of married to this time. So goodbye and thank you, everyone. And now here is this.
A 115 team takes a running back. You just took your franchise quarterback. You had a running back. And I'd be pissed if I was a Jacksonville fan. I love that, talking about Green Bean. He'll never find out. Believe me, nobody knows better what it looks like when an organization is about to go to shit than a New York Jet fan. And Justin Fields proved that he can hold it together. He can regroup. It's okay if he struggles. And we got a big game against the Eagles, and maybe you need some energy, so wake up! We have every right to expect the Jets to win. Rich Cimini, schmuck, putz,